Hi, I'm Kendra with Where's the Moon Astrology, and today I am talking about Sun opposite Mars in the birth chart. So I want to talk about the Sun and Mars individually. The Sun is going to be your conscious will. It's going to be your ego expression, where you're consciously directing your energy, where the traits that you take pride in and are putting on display. Mars is going to be your fighting energy. This is going to be how you are expressing yourself in anger. It's going to be how you're expressing yourself sexually. It's going to be how you're asserting yourself and going about getting what you want. And I want to make a quick distinction between the moon and Mars because, Mars is associated with anger. We can get kind of confused about whether moon or Mars is, on display at any given time. So the moon, I think the distinction is this, okay? So if you're in a situation that, angers you, you're going to initially, if you're actually with people that you're not very comfortable with, don't want to really show your emotions to, you might still react from your ascendant sign, which is, where you're most comfortable, how you're reacting to your immediate environment, kind of the face that you're wearing. If you're kind of expressing your ego, then that might be the sun. But if you are in a place where you can react emotionally, you can react with anger, then you would be expressing that anger through your moon sign. I think when Mars comes in is not that initial reaction. Mars is not going to be necessarily that initial reaction because immediately you're going to process it through the filter of the emotions, which is the moon. So I think Mars comes into play later on when you've already had that initial emotional reaction and now you're strategizing how you're going to handle it. So in the Sun conjunct Mars video, I gave this example. If you have the moon in Cancer and Mars in Aries, say something happens that really does anger you on a deep level, you're going to be reacting from that Cancer moon. So you might react tearfully, passively, even passive aggressively at first. And after you've had some time to process that emotion, then you would revert to that Mars in Aries, which is much more abrasive, much more confrontational and reactive. So the Mars in Aries would be kind of how you decide to process, how you decide to go about handling that situation after you've had that initial emotional reaction. So I really think that your anger emotions, if you're in a situation that can make you angry, you're going to initially react from your moon sign, and Mars is going to be how you handle it later. Because Mars is, the strategist. It's not really emotional, not really reactive. It's a strategist. It's the warrior planet. So it's going to be kind of how you're handling it more consciously later on. So Sun opposite Mars. The opposition entails a couple things. First of all, these are making an aspect. They do have a connection. But what tends to happen with the opposition is that the outer planet, in this case Mars, the outer planet in the birth chart, in this case that would be Mars. So, that is going to be something that you experience more through other people. You're going to experience that Martian energy through other people. And this is usually because it's a trait that you're not really consciously identifying with in yourself, something that you're not consciously expressing in your personality. Everyone else can see it about you. People can see that Martian energy in you. Whatever sign that it's in, they can feel that about you, but you have a hard time identifying with that on a conscious level. So you're going to experience it through other people. You're going to attract people who, embody this Martian energy as it pertains to your sun. The sun being the ego, you're going to continually encounter people who challenge your ego, people who are somewhat abrasive towards you, people who maybe are very competitive with you, people who are basically, I think with the sun opposite Mars aspect in your chart, you can be somebody who really attracts a lot of people who just want to fight you, people who just want to stir the pot with you and challenge your ego as well, because the sun is the ego. So there will be a lot of challenges to your pride that take place through other people as well. A lot of challenging your ego, and in that case, I think that's when the Sun Mars opposition would kind of activate, and you would more embody that Martian energy. You'd be more aggressive, consciously directing that aggression, because it's an offense to your ego, and in that case, you would be really really aggressive and competitive yourself. But in general, you're not going to be the one necessarily initiating those battles. It's going to be kind of experienced through other people. Typically, I think that it's the outer planet that is being that's being projected onto others. So this could be that, the sun, the ego is the portion of you that's being projected, but I tend to think it's the outer planet in most cases. So it's usually be Mars is being experienced through other people. Um, Now, the way to kind of get around this, so to speak, is to consciously embody the energy of Mars. To say, for instance, you have Mars in Scorpio. Because it's not really a conscious thing in your personality, it's not something that you are really consciously expressing. That's why it's kind of coming through other people, because you are not consciously embodying that energy, you are not owning it, and you are unconsciously expressing it in ways that are more low vibe. So the low vibration of Mars and Scorpio would be very um, manipulative, vindictive, vengeful. That would be Mars and Scorpio on a low vibration. So, in order to kind of correct this and stop attracting people who are um, embodying that low vibration of Mars and Scorpio even more, attracting those people into your experience, because you're basically attracting what you are. You are the low vibration of Mars and Scorpio because you're not giving it your conscious attention. So, you're going to attract more low vibe Mars and Scorpio. So with that, uh, Mars and Scorpio, you're going to want to consciously embody the energy of Mars and Scorpio in a more positive way. Mars and Scorpio is all about connection, deep connection, intimacy. It's also about, uh, strategy, being very cunning, being very penetrating in the way that you express your assertive self. So that's going to be what you want to embody. You're going to want to embody those traits in a very positive and conscious way. Now, if you think about the opposition between Scorpio and Taurus, so if your sun was in Taurus, that's when it would be opposing your Scorpio Mars. Um, it's your ego is much more stable, much more um, unmoving. That's why you don't really identify with the Mars and Scorpio, because the sun is your very conscious expression. It's a very conscious part of who you are. So with that sun being in Taurus, you like things to be stable. You don't like to rock the boat. Mars and Scorpio is the total opposite of that. Mars and Scorpio likes to um, kind of kick things around and cause cause issues. Mars and Scorpio likes to cause issues because um, they're trying to transform, and they can't transform without creating change. So Taurus doesn't like change. That's why it gets projected. Mars and Scorpio gets projected. So if you're like a Taurus sun with Mars and Scorpio, you're going to want to consciously embody the energy of Mars and Scorpio by um, initiating that change, by embodying that change instead of sitting in this very comfortable position of your sun in Taurus. Um, that's when it's going to get projected, and that's when things are going to get kind of nasty, because that's the low vibration of Mars and Scorpio is going to be constantly drawn into your experience. So it's very, very important to embody the outer planet's energy consciously and in the most positive way possible. That's how you kind of work with the energy of the opposition. You can kind of come to a place where you have kind of found a way to give them equal expression in your personality. Anyway, so that is the end of my sun opposite Mars and the birth chart video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I did want to remind you that I offer birth chart readings of all types and relationship readings, individual planetary report readings. So I'm leaving the link in the description of this video to where you can check those out. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day.